Hey everyone, welcome back. I am back today with more Attack on Titan, you guys. Last time was pretty darn interesting. There was a lot going on. I won't get into every single thing, but there's just a lot to deal with, guys. It's like every time we think we're kind of like, okay, this is really happening, like, what's going on next? They kind of introduce, like, even more interesting stuff to us. So I will briefly get into, just my lingering thoughts on on last week's episode, because there was an awful lot going on. But first off, I just want to say, if you're joining me early today, you know just what that means. It means that you are one of my awesome patrons. Thank you so much, and as always, I'm sending up those big old hugs right through that screen. And if not, still thank you for joining me today. I'm glad you're here. I do hope you'll consider supporting me that way. The link to my Patreon is going to be in that description down below. If you're joining me on the YouTubes, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for me. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Yeah, so, I mean, the end was probably the part that, like, made me kind of, like, gasp the most. Just because we finally learned that, you know, we kind of knew that, like, Hanji got away, Levi was probably alright, but we had confirmation. And that whole line about, like, oh, he's just, don't mind him. It's like, oh my gosh, don't mind Levi, really? Like, have you met Levi? We gotta just be, like, just gotta be cool and casual, you know? We're just, I don't know if we're gonna do, like, a team up. It's weird to me that in trying to do what he's doing, Eren has kind of sort of created a situation where there are a lot of people on both sides who do not want what is about to happen. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was maybe, like, at least a small scale team up of some sort. Although even that is kind of pushing it, considering just, like, the history with these two sides. And we saw how, like, on the outside, like, the Marleyans, not Marley Eldians, they don't even believe, like, what's going on. They don't even believe what's happening, and they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. Oh my god, we got so much good stuff with Annie. We finally got to hear from Annie for the first time in, like, years. Annie has been doing a lot of thinking, which I guess is to be expected, seeing as how she had a lot of time to think things over. So that was interesting. I love the stuff with Gabby and Kaya. That is just, I will hold on to that tiny little bit of hope in what they represent on the show. Because hope is in short supply right now. It truly is. Hanji and Levi, Connie, oh my god, so Connie got away with Falco, and I just can't believe he's gonna go through. I cannot believe he would go through with it. A few of you have pointed out that if, you know, Armin does show up to try and stop him, like, is he going to see that as like a betrayal of their trust or friendship, because they're doing that to try and get the trust of Gabby, who we know killed Sasha, which, I mean, and you can't blame Connie for feeling any of the ways that he feels. The problem is, or maybe not problem, but the fact of it is, on this show, it is so much more complicated than just that. The fact that they could take a character like Gabby and kind of bring her to a point in her redemption arc where it almost felt like she's, like, taking up the mantle, you know? Like, when she was putting her hair up and everything, like, we should all hate her, you know? But it's never, ever, ever that simple on this show. I know some of you out there hate her. I know Gabby's not necessarily beloved by everyone, but I do really enjoy what they've done with her. Same with Floke. Like, I was so cheesed off at Floke. I'm like, oh my god. And a lot of you were like, yup, that's Floke. And a lot of you had kind of some interesting opinions and, like, here's another way to look at it, or, like, this is why the show is so interesting, because and the same thing with Eren, like, what we're seeing here isn't all necessarily one-sided stuff. You know what I mean? Well, you know if you've been watching. But anyway, it was quite the episode. Of course, we had Armin really just kind of breaking down and like, how could you not? He's been bearing the weight of the world on his shoulders. And yeah, guys, I felt like last time was a lot of like, let's deal and see where everyone's at following like big action stuff. And before we move on to like the next big, whatever the next big action stuff is going to be. I really want to see what's going to happen. I'm excited. I'm scared. I'm all the above. What do you say we go ahead and we jump in to the next episode of Attack on Titan? Let's go. Whoa. Oh, not aware of the Pixie situation. So it's really up to Armin. And then it happened. So everything. Okay. So now we're all on the same page. So he's the one who said we can't just stay out here. We're here to talk. They're gonna team up. Okay. Connie. Right? He's so trusting. Oh, God. He does, Connie. He trusts you. I don't think Sasha could have sacrificed a little boy. Oh, please tell me we don't get very far with this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. They're gonna talk about this. Oh, we're gonna put it together. That's not exactly, but... Oh, no. Where's Armin? Look in... Oh, no, Connie, don't do that. No. Look in his eyes. This is an innocent child. No. Ah. Ah. Oh, God. Oh! Oh, Connie! Oh! Connie, don't do this. You don't want to do this. He has no idea. He has no idea. He has no idea. He has no idea. Oh, dear God. Connie, don't do this. Don't do this. Armin. What are you saying? Armin, what are you gonna do? Armin? What is... Armin? Armin, what are you doing? No! 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 He wouldn't let him. He wouldn't let him do it. He was ready to sacrifice himself. Because that's what Smith would have done. Turn Mom back into a human. Falco gets to live. But what do you think? Anyone's going to suffer no matter what, who gets eaten. Connie, no one blames you for how you feel. He almost really seriously did channel his inner spirit. He was there. You are. Wow! Oh my God. My blood pressure just needs a second to come back to a normal state. Armin's plan was Mom lives, Falco lives, Armin sacrifices himself. He was ready. He took the plunge quite literally. And when Connie saw his actions speaking for him, that was the turning point. Oh, I don't like my baby taking risks like that. I think he was prepared. I don't know this, but I think he was fully and utterly prepared. I don't think he was betting on Connie saving him 100%. You know what I mean? But boy, that really did speak louder than words, because when it was Armin, the sacrifice was too much. And I think it's a great point that it all just depends on where you're standing, you know? If you're a loved one of Armin's, that's too much. If you're a loved one of Falco's, that's too much. And wow, I feel awful for Connie. I wish there was another way. It's not something, I mean, we do think about it, but just the entire concept of Titans is it's not only a means of perpetuating like violence and war towards others, but it really perpetuates, it's all based on like this concept of, like, even when we saw the flashback with Ymir, of this sacrifice. And I think, like, last episode, one thing that was really driven home to me too was that, like, everyone has someone that they're doing this for. And I just wish things were different for Connie, but God, I really thought for a second there we were going to lose Armin. I really thought for a second there, like, they brought us through what, 3x17 was it? To bring us to this point where he's going to pull Smith. Oh my God. All right, let's read. A village that was deserted after being overrun by Titans. Upon their arrival, the scouts discovered a single Titan with extremely small limbs, which made it unable to move. Later, when Titans were being eradicated from the island, former Ragako resident Connie Springer requested for the village to become a Titan observation zone and be left as is. Preserving. God, I'll never forget that first time we pieced that all together about his mom. It's devastating. It's devastating because it shouldn't have to be that way either. All right, guys. Was I going to say anything else after that? I don't know. Let's just get back to the episode because I'm sure I'll have a lot to say at the end of this episode. But God, that was an intense moment, you guys. I can't take too many more like that. Let's go. Oh, that's kind of interesting that. Oh. 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 She's like, mine. Mine. No regrets. Wow. Oh, I think this is hitting a little too close to home for Mikasa in her relationship with Eren. Is anyone else getting that kind of parallel a little bit, even right down to the scarf? No. Did he though, or is he there for another reason? Oh, I don't like hearing the give your hearts in this. They're oh God. Oh, they're like, okay, we're just gonna have a little lunch. Like sitting right there. Chew faster! Chew faster! I have no words. It's her first pie in like how many years? Give her a break. Oh, kind of was like one of your gloomy roommate. God, their story just went to some real places. Oh my God, no, not. No way! Oh, John cannot be on board. No, please, no. Oh God, Onyankopon. Oh God, guys, no, whoa. Whoa. This can't. Yelena really, really, really believed in Zeke, though. Like, for real. No, nope, I can't do this. I can't do this. Seriously, like, we're all just trying to save our... John cannot stand by and... For real. This is what happened to them in the first place. How can you take it and then go... John! What? John! Whoa! No! God! He shot at the ground. Like 5 times. John! Oh! No, John, no! No! Did Pieck just capture John? Where is Mikasa? That's what that was all about. Okay. We're doing this. Oh my God. Oh, I can't. Oh, I can't take much more of that. Oh. Oh, yeah, that was the idea. Hanji has some genuine curiosity here. That wasn't, no. John is not that person anymore. You can't, once you know what you know, you can't unknow it. Yeah, no. It's been a long time since he just wanted to get by. How is Yelena going to feel? I see. Okay. That was part of the... Whoa! That is that! Hey! Hey! Remember me? Wow. It's a long story. I cannot believe we are all... Where? That's a good question. What exactly is the plan? Off to save the world. Look at that crew! Oh! Guys, there is a tiny, tiny part of me that thinks that Eren's real plan was to force people to unite. But I don't know though. Probably not. Probably not. But isn't it interesting that that is in fact what's happening, and that we have been put in a position where we really don't have any other choice. The thing is, I think, as we've seen with Gabby and Kaya, it's going to be a lot harder to have the feelings and beliefs that we have once we have... I mean, at this point, we have all pretty much... I mean, not Pieck and all them, but, like, they have fought alongside each other. Reiner and Annie and... you know, undercover, but yeah. And we know just how much that affected them and affected their perspective. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how far are we going to get fighting side by side before we realize we're really not all that different. That end shot, just like, off to save the world. I don't know what the actual plan is. Like, I would love to know the details of the plan. Also, oh my God, talk about tension with that scene. Oh God, I mean, I knew John wasn't. I know. Once I saw John up there, I'm like, John is absolutely not a part. Guys, it has been so long since John was that person. And I don't even know if deep down, if he ever really was all that person that just like, hey, I just want to have a nice, easy life, get by, do my military police thing. Maybe at one time that was, you know, we know he stated that was the goal, but man, I'll tell you what, events like these change you. And he has not been that person for a long time. There was no way I didn't buy it for a minute. And when he got eaten, the first thing I thought was Pieck is like not capturing, but using the Pieck transportation system. Here we all are. So yeah, so let's review. So we've got I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but Magath. I don't know. Pieck, Hanji, Levi, and our crew of Armin, Mikasa, John, Connie, along with Reiner, Annie, Falco, and Gabby. Oh my God, can you imagine being Reiner? Waking up, it's like, don't freak out. But also Annie in the pie. Annie in the pie. Oh my God. We don't often see kind of like comedic stuff with Annie, so it really hits. And come to think of it, didn't someone, I feel like someone told me way back when that Sasha mentioned that she really liked, that Annie really liked sweets. So they're kind of like keeping it consistent there. All right, guys. So here we go. Here we go. I don't know what the exact plan is, but I know that a whole lot of us do not want Eren to succeed with this plan. And I gotta say, it really says something that, like, and we saw a few episodes ago that, like, everything Eren had been through, he is now exacting upon not just the enemy, but upon his own people. You know, like, that really says something that, like, this is a cycle. You know, we're not putting an end to the cycle by doing this. The cycle is continuing. And just everyone being so on board with, like, there was a time when all I would have wanted was for this island to be safe and for all the truth to come to light and for, you know, but all of the people that you're hurting, all of the other nations, all of the other, like, it just, I think we've gotten very far away from why we started doing this, you know, like the Jaegerists and everything, and Eren. In a way, we're doing exactly what we set out to do. Not we, but they. But at the same time, it's like, how can you ignore the irony that, like, all you wanted was your safety and your freedom, and, like, this is what you're doing about it? Like, but anyway, here comes our crew to save the world. I haven't felt like there was light at the end of the tunnel about this show in a very long time, and I'm finally starting to feel it, and I'm just so happy we're teamed up. I'm so happy. I don't know how long it will last. I don't know how much it will spread, but wow. Wow. That was quite the episode, guys. All right. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Great episode. There's only a handful left, too. Like, we have a matter of weeks, I think, until, like, we really wrap things up. All right, you guys. I hope you enjoyed watching along with me. I cannot wait to see what happens next. So please be sure to join me next time. We will watch it, get through it, all of the above together. Bye for now, guys.